Street Genius Part 52. And while it's easy to get hung up on our cards and feel we got screwed over, the real game lies in the choices we make with those cards, the risk we decide to take, and the consequences we choose to live with. People who consistently make the best choices in the situations they are given are guest choices they are given are ones who eventually come out ahead in a poker game just as in life. And it's not necessarily the people with the best cards. There are those who suffer psychologically and emotionally from neurological or genetic deficiencies, but this changes nothing. Sure, they inherited a bad hand and are not to blame. No more than the short guy wanting to get a date is to blame for being short. But it's still their responsibility whether they choose or seek psychiatric treatment, undergo therapy, or do nothing. The choice is ultimately theirs to make. There are those who suffer through bad childhoods. There are those who are abused and violated and screwed over. Physically, emotionally, financially, they are not to blame for their problems and their hindrances, but they are still responsible, always responsible to move on despite their problems and to make the best choices they can, given their circumstances. The best choices they can, given their circumstances. And let's be honest here, if you were to add all of the people who have some psychiatric disorder, struggle with depression or suicidal thoughts, have been subjected to neglect or abuse, have dealt with tragedy or death of a loved one, and have survived serious health issues, accidents, or trauma. If you were to round up all of those people and put them in the room, well, you'd probably have to round up everyone because nobody makes through life without collecting a few scars on the way out. Sure, some people get settled with worse problems than others, and some people are legitimately victimized in horrible ways. But as much as this may upset us or disturb us, it ultimately changes nothing about the responsibility equation of our individual situation. Victimhood check. The responsibility fault fallacy allows people to pass off the responsibility for solving their problems to others. This ability to alleviate responsibility through blame gives people a temporary high and feeling of moral righteousness. Unfortunately, one side effect of the internet and social media is that it's become easier than ever to push responsibility for even the tiniest of the infractions onto some other group or person. In fact, this kind of public blame shame game has become popular. In certain crowds, it's even seen as cool. The public sharing of injustices garners far more attention and emotional outpouring than most other events on social media, dividing people who are able to perpetually feel victimized with ever growing amounts of attention and sympathy. Victimhood check is in style on both the right and the left today, among both the rich and the poor. In fact, this may be the first time in human history that every single demographic group has felt unfairly victimized simultaneously, and they're all riding the highs of moral indignation that comes along with it. Right now, anyone who is offended about anything, whether it's the fact that a book about racism was assigned in a university class, or that Christmas trees were banned at the local mall, or the fact that taxes were raised 0.5% on investment funds, feels as though they are being oppressed in some way and therefore deserve to be outraged and to have a certain amount of attention.